you think about playing Mario Brothers, when you got coins in Super Mario, you didn't keep them.
Okay.
Yeah, you did, but you couldn't do anything with them.
Right.
You just collected them.
Yeah, you turned off the console and your console was done.
Right?
Right.
Now, imagine then that you could take them out of the game.
Okay, so you buy them.
Or you collect them. You go through and you earn, Mario's jumping around and you're getting coins. And then those coins are accumulating in your account.
Okay.
You can take them out of the Mario Brothers game.
Didn't know that.
And exchange them for real world dollars or for real world assets.
Oh, I'm down with that. Let's go.
Welcome to the Disruptance Podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric Forney and Michael Bounds.
Today, I want to disrupt the way I think about money. So, Eric, like, what am I missing here? Like, everybody's talking crypto. Everybody's talking Mario Kart. Everybody's talking about all these things.
Web3.
Where do I start?
Wow, that's a big topic. Okay,
that's something to pick the thread.
Well, we were just talking about before we started, to give some people context. We were all just talking for about 20 minutes about crypto and what, like, there's a real estate or something sold in the Metaverse in Decentraland for $2.43 million, or equivalent to 644,000 mana coins. And then that's when Michael's head blew up.
Yeah, I'm just like, I feel like I'm missing something, and it's in the room. Like, there's a huge elephant in the room. Everybody sees it but me. So I'm trying to get clarity.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that not everybody sees it, for whatever it's worth. And I say that only because, like, when we look at the adoption curve here of like crypto and blockchain technology, we're still roughly, I think, probably 1998 or so. I would say last year we were looking at like 97, and there's actually, like, you can look online and see the adoption rate of wallet users and crypto buyers compared to the internet in the early 90s. And so I still think that we're in such an early phase of adoption. So the good news is, no matter how late you think you are, you're actually not all that late. Now, would you have been better off to have been 24 months ago or even more than that? Yeah, of course. However, I think the good news about this, and this is, purely speculation. However, I think that in this particular market that we're in late 2021, we'll see less volatility than what we saw 12 months ago, of course, than what we saw 3 years ago, because adoption is increasing.
Right.
So think about it this way, is that, in 98, 99, we saw .com bubble burst, which related to a ton of volatility in the, like, speculation of what the internet was going to be. We're going to see a ton of speculation. We already see it, of what the future of the internet is going to be in crypto. However, I think we'll see a little less volatility than we've seen in the past. Crypto's seen 80-90% drawdowns in prices. At least twice. This year alone, we saw a 50% pullback in July. So I think that because of this now moving culture trend to the Metaverse, we're going to see less volatility. So I think it's actually a positive, or will play out to be a positive, because it will detach itself from Bitcoin. So, all right, that's my disclaimer, because my concern here is that someone, like, apes into crypto or apes into the Metaverse, which is not the smartest way to do it if you actually want to, like, keep your money.
Does ape in mean all in?
Yeah, like, when you're just, like,
you just got degenerate talk.
Yeah, sorry,
here,
you're just like FOMO into it. Like,
Yeah.
I do that a fair amount. Well, I'll, like, ape into something. Like, you'll get, like, super excited about something and shortcut the, like, research and put way too much money into something that it just, like, falls.
It's a dog.
Because what happens is these things usually come out of, like, when a new project launches, typically what happens is people will ape into it, and so it goes way up in price,
Right.
and then it falls.
Right.
And somebody's left holding the bag until it gets to be popular again, or goes back up in price. Sometimes it never goes back up to its original price.
Okay.
So you usually want to not, like, get into a project way too early to where it loses its value. Okay, so what do you need to know, or where do we want to start? Because this is such a big topic.
Michael, do you have any specifics? Otherwise, I can.
Yeah, so there's a lot there because we're talking metaverse.
Yeah, it's kind of
we're
all the same
talking.
thing.
Yeah, so like that's the problem is that we don't have clarity around. It's all the same thing. Everything is converging into like it's the same thing we're running into our business.
Yeah,
everything is converging into one thing. So what is? And I don't even think our minds understand that we are at the brink of a new internet.
Not at all. I know that we don't understand, and anyone who does, who thinks that they understand, is just predicting what they believe the future will look like. Remember, if you had told someone in 1995 that you could use your phone to look at cameras in your house and call someone on video, and also pull up the weather and then set your alarm and change your thermostat and look at your doorbell and also order pizza and see where the driver was, no one on the planet would have ever believed that was something that was possible from a phone that at the time was plugged into a wall with a rotary dial and a long cord.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
And so to some degree, we have no idea what it will look like 20 years from now. However, the way that the metaverse and crypto kind of like work together. And sometimes I hate to use the word crypto because it implies currency and people don't necessarily understand currency to the fullest. We oftentimes think about,
we think about it in our fine focused, but when you think of currency, you think of the blood in our veins, like it's crazy. Like anyway, go ahead. You're right.
No, go for it. So this is the tough part of currency is an ambiguous word.
Right.
When I think that when people think about what currency means is that we rarely associate the exact same image or the exact same meaning to it. So I think currency being like a medium of exchange, like a dollar or a yen or a accepted, government currency. However, there is like social currency. There are a lot of things that are actually currencies that we never take into account that are not government approved or mandated currencies. For instance, it's easy to pick on you, Tyler. Like
talk about playing cards.
Yeah, playing cards. Let's do this. So in your world, cards have a currency to them. There is a social aspect of the currency inside of a network of people who collect or play or trade cards.
Yes.
Okay. And so the more desirable the card, the higher the value, because it socially signals that like you have something that is unique and desirable.
I'll give you a prime example. So, I talk about them a lot, but that company called Fontaine.
Yep.
So they became aware a couple of years ago of how much people buy and then resell their cards because they sell out so quick. Well, they sealed up decks of cards and called them Fontaine Futures, knowing that the price is just probably going to go up on those decks.
Wow.
So they released a certain amount of these, and then just recently for their Black Friday special, sold just a batch of them. They're worth more money if they're sealed.
Oh yeah.
Out of the possibility that there might be one of the decks that sells for like $500 or $600. So, but by keeping it sealed, you don't know. So then that sealed one sells on eBay for like $130, $150, just like that. Like,
yeah.
And it's printed on the exact same deck of cards that you would play like beer pong with.
Yeah.
Dude, it wasn't that long ago. We were sailing across the world for salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here talking about like we were sailing
100%.
across the world for salt. And so I had that moment. So currency can be anything. Is
That's
in
right.
essence what you're saying.
Yeah. So
it could be
think
salt.
about currency could be chips in a casino.
Right.
Right, is because we know that that's the accepted currency inside of one casino. No, you can't take those. You can't take the MGM chips over to Caesars and exchange them. Right. They're not the accepted currency of that game, that casino verse.
Right.
Okay. And so when you think about currency inside of Metaverse or currencies inside of like a game, you cannot take a currency from Decentraland and exchange it in Sandbox, two separate metaverses. Think of them like casinos. In fact, Decentraland has a casino inside of the game of Decentraland, the Metaverse. Okay, so
love it. So I didn't have clarity around that. I thought there was just one metaverse and they all kind of was going to stitch together.
Imagine them like casinos where you can take that you have a token.
So it's a game.
It is a game. That's right.
You literally just go in and you live in a game.
Correct. And what's weird is that it is a game and yet not a game at all because there really isn't like an objective necessarily in those two games.
Okay.
Or those two metaverses. You live there. Almost like your character lives there. Your like video game avatar lives there. Yeah. So they're almost like a Sim City would be.
Okay.
Where you can, the difference though is that if you think about playing Mario Brothers, when you got coins in Super Mario, you didn't keep them.
Okay.
Yeah, you did, but you couldn't do anything with them.
Right.
You just collected them.
Yeah, you turned off the console and your console was done.
Right.
Right.
Now, imagine then that you could take them out of the game.
Okay, so you buy them.
Or you collect them, you go through and you earn, Mario's jumping around and you're getting coins, and then those coins are accumulating in your account.
Okay.
You can take them out of the Mario Brothers game.
Didn't know that.
And exchange them for real world dollars or for real world assets.
Oh, I'm down with that. Let's go. We could do that. Like nobody's explained that to me like that.
Yeah, I don't know why this is like it's the.
I'm 41, so I don't really think about like you know what I'm saying. Like you know what I'm saying.
A large part of this is because it's hype and hyperbole, right? It's all about like thinking about possibility instead of extrapolating it to something that is actually what we know already.
Something we've already done, like bridging that gap. Yeah. Okay, so I'm clear about that. I love that. That's clarity.
And
that's
when
dope.
you think about what you own digitally is basically nothing. There's the belief is that you digitally you only own one thing, and that's a domain address, and even that you have to continue to rent and pay for typically. So with the idea of that's what we would consider to be like Web 2, is where everything is rented or borrowed or copied from companies. In these companies, if we were going to insert lingo and jargon here, we would call them intermediaries. So these third-party companies or intermediaries are the ones who are the medium of exchange. They're the trusted middle person. So you don't own your Facebook profile.
Right.
Facebook does.
Right.
It just so happens that they are allowing you to use their platform until they decide to deplatform you, right?
Right.
And so in Web 2.0, you are borrowing your digital identity. You're borrowing your Twitter account. You're borrowing your Facebook profile. Everything is used on someone else's platform. And at any given time, someone can choose to no longer allow you to use the platform.
Right.
And that's obviously not political. That's just fact. Right. And so, you've been in Facebook jail before, I think, right, Mike?
No, I've never been in Facebook jail. I'm pretty.
Oh, good. I know a lot of people who are in Facebook jail for things.
Yeah, I've never been in Facebook jail. It's crazy.
So you can be in Facebook jail, but in Web 3.0, you couldn't. And that's because you own everything yourself.
So are we in Web point?
We are in Web 2.0 currently.
Okay, so when did Web 1.0 go away?
So
where's that?
That's the Web 1.0 passed us by without us ever paying any real attention.
They say Web 1 ended in 2005, and they is the one source that I looked at. They basically because that's when people started like writing blogs, making their own content essentially, and then being able to make money off of it. And then 2005 also was like when MySpace started. So like the personalization of the internet.
Right. Like it was a big deal to create a website. Like in essence, your medium was websites versus social media. Like now that's,
and it was just like prior to that, it was just like information based.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So Web 1.0 would have been like a bunch of information pages hyperlinked.
Got it.
To each other.
Got it. Just this network. Well,
yeah. Almost like a library would be, you could cross-reference multiple hyperlinks across the internet, but there was no like creator aspect of it where things were actually more interoperable. So currently we're in this Web 2.0 space, and the concern, of course, is that in Web 2.0, one of the concerns is that we're still not really democratized in Web 2.0. At any given time, in theory, your Twitter account can be shut down at any time. There's, think about how China can decide to ban the internet.
They just did that.
Yeah.
They literally just did that.
Yeah. Put restrictions.
And Russia just did it. They had some apps down there that they made it to where Google and Apple could download them.
Yep. And so in Web 2.0, it really is less democratized control. So Web 3.0 then becomes a whole new amalgamation of everything.
It's like kind of like a democracy.
It is. That's right.
It's going to take the players like Facebook, and it's going to like disrupt that.
Correct.
I see it. Okay.
And so when you think about so if I'm tying a bow all back together on this, I'm saying, okay, this is how crypto and Web 3.0 connect. Is that when Satoshi Nakamoto wrote his white paper in 2008, who I say it's a he, it's presumed to be the case. When Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the white paper in 2008 about Bitcoin and blockchain, the entire intent of the white paper was to democratize the financial system by not giving one person or one party any ability to control and influence the use of currency without getting a consensus of the majority. And so it changed. The goal was to create a democracy or a consensus of agreement on how money would be utilized. And so the entire thesis was that man would be corrupt if given the opportunity to be corrupt without fail over time. This took place during the Occupy Wall Street and 2008-9 financial collapse. Was that Satoshi said that basically mathematics was the only thing that we could rely on to be incorruptible. And so because of that, if there was a way to make currency that was incorruptible, immutable, and verifiable by the masses, that it would save humanity from its own corruption. And this was the birth of blockchain as we know it currently. And so Bitcoin set out to do that initially as a monetary currency. Well, then Vitalik Buterin and others created Ethereum, which then set out to essentially eliminate third-party companies as the trusted third-party intermediary. Therefore, the only reason you use a bank today is because you trust that when you walk into a bank that the bank will give you your money.
Yeah, intermediary.
That's right. They're the trusted third-party intermediary to give you your money. However, Vitalik and the other 7 founders of Ethereum had the belief that you could eliminate the trusted third party and rely instead on mathematics if you could create a code, a smart contract that would say when you put your money in, you essentially get a receipt, an IOU,
right,
that says, Mike, you put your currency into this vault, this smart contract. Only Mike can come back and redeem his receipt for what's inside of the vault.
Right. We call that a wallet.
That's right. We call it a wallet, or some would call it a vault, because it is, in essence, you're taking your assets, you're putting them into like the equivalent of a digital bank vault.
Okay.
And you have the keys, you have the code, you have the ability to access that, and only you. And you could even layer in additional like security measures by having me, Tyler, and you have to all three come together and agree to open the vault to give you the contents of it. Therefore, someone couldn't
secure. Yeah,
that's right. It adds that layer of security. That's right. So, because then someone can't just hack your wallet and then get access to it without the two of us also agreeing to give our access to it. Okay, so when you think about then, now you've got the genesis of the blockchain, you've got smart contracts, and then Web 3.0's intent is to give democratized ownership of the internet and the future of the internet to the people all over the world if they so choose. And so all of that happens inside of these random metaverse worlds in which people choose to occupy if they want. So Decentraland and Sandbox are the most commonly used ones right now. However, there are new ones coming out seemingly every day where the like growth of them or the benefit of them will be based on how many people choose to exist in that metaverse and how active they are. And so community becomes the sustainability and the value of the token inside of that metaverse. Is the more people that exist, the more people that have characters, avatars, players, people, whatever we want to call them, inside of that community, the more valuable the currency is that's exchanged in that community.
So this is the question that I have.
So many.
I'm going, you go to the metaverse, right? Okay. So like, what does that look like?
What do you mean by that?
So like if they're games,
yeah.
Do you like, I'm trying to understand, like, do you actually play a physical game, or do you not have to play a game?
How would you compare it to Minecraft?
Yeah. So, okay. So, oh gosh. All right, here we go. So I'm going to try. So there's there's almost two different things that you're saying all simultaneously.
Because I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, so that's where my ignorance is. Like, I want to understand it.
It's such a big topic. Okay. So think of metaverses as digital worlds that you exist in, similar to, like you said, a Minecraft, or similar to like a Sim City, Sim Farm, whatever. Okay. Then you have what are considered to be like totally separate play to earn games. So I'm going to go back to Mario and say you can play Mario and you can earn the coins inside of Mario when you're playing, right? When you go through Mario, you jump, hit a block, get a coin. You can take those coins out of Mario, and like if Mario was a play to earn game, you could take those coins outside of Mario and you could exchange them for dollars, because someone
It's like going to Dave and Buster's.
That's right.
Playing video games, and then they give you real cash.
That's right. They give you tickets, and those tickets.
That's what. You can for real cash.
That's right.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Yeah. Okay, that's one.
That's a play to earn game.
Okay.
And so there's this whole new like growing sector of play to earn games, because right now, video games, you can buy things in them. Actually, using real world dollars, you can go in and buy things inside of video games. Okay. The money that you use to buy things inside of a video game goes to the video game manufacturer, the company.
Right.
So the company is,
and they're trying to break it up.
That's right.
Decentralize. So instead of the game making all the money,
the people
make the money, and that's what the 2 to 3 is.
Yep, that's right. So 2 is the money gets put into the game, and the game maker.
So that's where I'm messing up. Where I'm messing up is there's a transition from 2 until 3.
That's right.
And I'm conflating 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Because we're at the transition.
There's because we're in the transition.
That's right.
So so I want to get clarity. So right now, as I can go in, play games, I can put money, and then I can cash in my chips.
Yeah.
That's something that's totally new to me, by the way.
And so if you think about building a community, the community is stronger when everyone has an incentive to make the community better by staying in the community.
Okay.
And so where Decentraland or where Sandbox or where these other metaverse like worlds are in, what happens is that when you think about it, if we consider this to be game theory, the participants of the game are of the metaverse are incentivized to play the game more.
Okay.
Because they own currency, they own land, they've invested in the game, in the community. Therefore, the more they play and the more others join in, the value of it goes up.
I see it. I know what I get it. So, okay, I don't want to conflate anymore. So right now, people are playing video games. They pay in. They can get money out. It's like Dave and Buster's. That's what the metaverse is currently.
Yep.
And there's multiple casinos.
Correct. Think about it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, casino being the metaphor for thinking about it like one casino chip is the currency of that casino.
I got it.
Caesars has its own chip that denominates its own currency, and so then what Facebook / Meta is saying is that basically they're going to become a metaverse company because they understand that it in Web 2.0, where Facebook currently exists, is going to be outdated, antiquated,
because right now they control.
Correct.
So now what they're going to do is like, hey, we're going to provide the platform to where you can build this new universe,
digital version of yourself inside of a more interactive and a more immersive experience of Facebook.
So I get why there's all these other metaverses, and now they're like, Facebook jumps in, and everybody's like, oh, this thing is a thing.
Yeah,
I get it now. So you have all these people and you're investing. So how do you get into so Facebook is going to be the facilitator of this third version?
They want to be. My belief, they won't be. However, they want to be. And I say the reason that they won't be is because Facebook is really Facebook entering as a metaverse is actually just improving the experience of Web 2.0, because Facebook is still the intermediary party with control.
Right.
And the entire thesis of Web 3.0 is democratized control.
And it seems like Facebook would still want control.
Of course they would, right? Yeah. And so
it's kind of antithetical to what the actual goal is.
That's right. It is actually the antithesis of everything Web 3.0 sets out to be, which is giving power back to the people instead of power to the larger corporations, the oligarchy, so on and so forth. And so the thought is that most people believe that are already early adopters in the space don't believe that Facebook will have a legitimate metaverse experience, because people won't want to continue to give Facebook control over their digital persona solely because there is no other real option.
Yeah, there isn't.
And so when there becomes other options, then people will not give Facebook their full access and control over their digital persona. And so things like Decentraland, Sandbox, Wilder World, Blocktopia, all of these other metaverse ventures will likely give democratized ownership of each person's digital persona owned by the individual rather than owned by the company.
Right.
The way that is expected to happen is by having a currency inside of each metaverse, inside of each digital world.
Right.
And so if you own your own currency and own your own digital persona, you can choose to deplatform yourself and go away if you choose, or you can choose to take your person and be dormant. You could choose to, look any way you want, fly, own a yacht, own real estate, all kinds of things.
I'd be able to grow a beard.
You have your beard. You'd have your beard going.
The avatar that I want. So I want to wrap this.
The social experiment. The social experience is different.
Yeah.
So think about that. That's one thing that's like, now just take how Facebook is a social network, right? It's set out to give people the ability to socially interact with each other. It does that by having a static timeline, a static feed. It does that by having pictures and videos, but it's not immersive.
Yeah.
It is really no different than reading a book or than like Web 1.0.
Right.
Largely, like when you go to your Facebook feed, it is the equivalent of kind of
it's a website.
Yeah, that's right. It's just a website.
Yeah.
So then Web 3.0 would give you ownership and then immersive social experience, which means you could put on your VR headset or you could put on AR glasses or AR contacts and have a more real life experience. So I was thinking about this before we went on, and I'm like, this changes business travel.
Heck yeah.
I don't need to go to Europe to do business travel. And arguably, I don't even need to go there to like do a tour of a factory. I don't need to go there to do diagnostics on, right now NVIDIA is doing this with BMW. They don't need to go to the BMW plant to do any like, testing to see about like whether there's inefficiencies on the production line, if they can do it with an immersive experience using VR or AR, where they can basically put on a set of glasses or in future contacts and be in the factory,
right,
simulating some of the inefficiencies inside of a BMW facility
in real time.
And then extrapolate that to a social experiment. We don't need to necessarily be all. Facebook would be so antiquated from a social experience.
Yeah. 20 years from now, Facebook is going to look like MySpace.
Right. That's right. They have no choice but to evolve. Their meta change is their attempt to preempt the disruption of social networks.
They're trying to disrupt. They're trying to Zillow.
That's right. They're trying to disrupt themselves, which is the right play to make.
That is the play to make, because the thing is, if they don't, they're dead.
Right. Someone else will.
So this is their only play.
Correct.
And so either it works or it doesn't.
Correct.
Yep. And then, so we'll dive into some more specifics about AR and some of the coins and games next episode. But Mike, what was probably one of the biggest takeaways from this so far?
Man, I got a lot of clarity on this. I just didn't even I didn't understand the video game component. Like, I didn't understand I just didn't understand it. So I'm 41. So like I try to avoid that stuff. And so to be honest with you, I got a lot of clarity on this episode. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Well, it's crazy because think about the way that you make money. I'm going to go back to Super Mario's because that's what us old people can understand, right?
Right.
So when you think about playing Mario Brothers, you would get like the fire suit, you wear like Mario, I don't know, shot fireballs or whatever.
Yeah.
That was an upgrade from the regular standard Mario, right? Mario started little and then he got big and then he got
a mushroom, you got a star.
You got different suits, right? You got a flying suit, a fire suit, all these things. Now, imagine that you could upgrade that when you started as small Mario, then you got big Mario, you got your fire suit. Maybe maybe the fire suit is worth 3 coins or 5 coins or 10 coins. Let's say it's worth 10. You can sell the fire suit to someone who's just starting and wants to not have to go through the progression of small Mario, big Mario to fire suit. They could for 10 coins buy your fire suit from you.
Okay.
That you earned. So now you've earned this video game upgrade that you've sold to someone who just joined the game.
Okay.
You could then go and continue to progress and get more suits you can sell. That's how you accumulate a war chest of coins.
Okay. And
so you're getting your wallet is growing in monetary value because
and then you go cash out.
Yeah.
And then another thing, it blends in. I remember going into college. It was a new time where they started having like chat rooms.
Yep.
And I was like 6'6",
Exactly.
I was like built. I was like, dreadlocks or whatever.
Yep.
And you get to be who you want to be. So
That's right.
it's kind of like they're blending those things, and then you bring money in, and then you can take the money out. So that to me gave me mad clarity. I didn't understand that. So thank you for that.